We're just a touch away. Monday to Friday at 12:30 p.m. only on Bloomberg Quint.
It is perhaps the most crucial of all 5 elections this season. The states of Madhya Pradesh and Mizoram go to vote tomorrow, and all eyes are on Madhya Pradesh. Here is why. With 230 seats in the assembly, it is the largest of all 5 states. MP also sends 29 members of parliament to the Lok Sabha, which is why it's significant from the 2019 elections point of view as well. But that's not all. With a 3-term chief minister from the BJP ruling the state at a time of agricultural distress, it is undoubtedly a tough fight for the BJP. For the Congress, it's a chance to prove they are still in the fight for the general elections next year. So on the eve of this crucial election, we're asking whether the state of MP is ready for change, does it want change, or will we see continuity? Joining us in the discussion today are Zafar Aslam, spokesperson from the BJP. Vinayak Dalmia is joining us from the Congress Party. I'm also joined today by Yatindra Singh, who is director at the MP Institute of Social Sciences Research, who's speaking with us from Ujjain today. Political analyst Amitabh Tiwari is also joining us on the show. Welcome to all of you. I actually want to start with Mr. Singh to understand what the mood on the ground is. We have seen such aggressive, hectic campaign season. The BJP has pulled out all stops. The Congress is betting heavily on Madhya Pradesh. At this point, on the eve of the election, do you think it's a close fight, Mr. Singh?
Yeah, definitely this election is going to be a little different from all the 3 elections. If we compare this election from 2003, 2008 and 2013, this 2018 election is an election which is on a kind of anti-incumbency against the incumbent government which is ruling for the state for last 15 years. And there are several issues, despite the fact that Shivraj Singh is still a very popular chief minister of the state of Madhya Pradesh. But simultaneously, there are several things happening in the state of Madhya Pradesh, wherein there are issues related to the agriculturists, the issues of farmer unrest, there are issues of youth unemployment, there are issues of women's security, and more importantly, the issues of the individual anti-incumbency against the sitting MLAs and ministers, which is more importantly pronounced in this election when we look at the campaign which has taken place.
Let me come to Amitabh Tiwari as well. Is it a fair assessment, Amitabh, that this is perhaps the most crucial of all the elections for the BJP? If they lose Madhya Pradesh, even if they win all of the others, hypothetically, it will be a loss of face.
No, see, every election is different, and for any party which has been ruling the state for 15 years, there will be some sort of a natural anti-incumbency which will creep in. There are issues, but more on the ground, the issue is more about credibility of leadership, whereas BJP is trying to make it a presidential style of election, so Shivraj Singh Chauhan, Modi and Amit Shah. Congress is trying to make it a localized campaign, focusing on issues at the seat level. In the end, I mean, only on 11th will be able to know, I mean, what is the scene or what is the mood of the voters. But I don't see a mood which is which is to throw out the government. That feeling or that sort of a wave is not there.
Okay.
So unless there is a wave that you have to throw out this government, it is very difficult for the challenger to win these sort of elections, as we saw in Gujarat.
Okay, just a quick disclaimer here. Amitabh Tiwari is a political consultant and he consults with political parties on both sides, including some BJP members from Madhya Pradesh. And I think it's only fair and important that we have that disclosure in light of his comments. Let me now come to the BJP and the Congress. Now, Mr. Dalmia, honestly, Madhya Pradesh is yours to lose. You have a 15-year government there. It is a time of rural distress across various states in India, and MP has also borne the brunt of it. You have strong leaders. There has been an attempt to quell infighting. If this election is lost, and the BJP is definitely not going to let you, walk over, it will be a true reflection of the ability of the Congress?
So I would not speculate that if there is going to be a loss. I would like to discuss if there is a victory, because the Congress is very confident that the people of Madhya Pradesh are with the Congress party and not with the BJP. I've seen many elections, and this is probably the first time that I'm seeing people of a state fight a political party, which is the BJP. Normally in an election, it's a fight between political parties, but this time round, it is the people who have decided that enough is enough. Shattered dreams and failed promises and empty ghoshnas are enough. Corruption is enough, so unemployment is enough, the farmer distress is enough, women,
Mr.
the situation
I understand,
for women,
I understand, but Mr. Dalmia, may I please request you? May I please request you? The campaign is over.
Yes.
The vote goes tomorrow. I think this is a good time to take stock of how crucial this state is to the two parties in view. And I will make the same request to Zafar Aslam. Let's cut out the campaigning. It's done. All the leaders have come and they've done it. The potential voters have heard. Let's come down to now how important and key this state is in a larger picture as well. And with that, Mr. Dalmia, I hope you will answer the question in that vein.
So every state is important. Every state election is important. So I don't want to isolate any one state election and say it's more important than other state elections. Of course, it's an important state. You look at the strength in terms of the population, you look at the number of seats it sends to the center, of course it's an important state. There is no running away or denying that fact. And nobody has even once said that that's not the case. It is a very important election, and it is an election that the Congress party is very confident of coming up with a positive outcome, because as I said, the BJP has failed the people. And the people are with the Congress, and when outcomes, the day of the outcome, you'll realize that.
All right.
So I'm not denying your fact. It's an important election. But every election is important.
Okay, now we're assuming, of course, every party thinks they're going to win. Zafar Aslam will say the same thing. But Zafar Aslam, I want to ask you what you are really bringing to the table. And by you, I mean your party. Because the Congress manifesto talks about farm loan waivers. They talk about halving, electricity bills for farmers, implementation of the Swaminathan Committee report. And the BJP manifesto also has some promises. But do you think that voters will find the Congress manifesto more promising, and that could be a weak point?
Well, the people of Madhya Pradesh have seen our performances in the last 15 years. Whatever we had promised, we have delivered. They have a lot of confidence in Bharatiya Janata Party's and its leadership and the state leadership, and they have seen both engines working simultaneously last 4.5 years has given excellent result for the state and people of the state of Madhya Pradesh. So let me tell you a few things. Congress is actually banking on the false promises they are making. They have been making this kind of promises in the past in several other places, but they have never been able to do that. Even in this case, in the case of Madhya Pradesh, and since 2003, actual development has taken place. This government, whatever promises like Bijli, Pani Sarak, road, they will provide road, they will provide electricity, they will provide home, they will provide all these promises, drinking water, nothing has been fulfilled. And all these things have been done by our government. So in terms of in Madhya Pradesh, if you see that in 2003, 2003, when they left their state, the 2,900 megawatt.
Mr. Aslam, this is so interesting. This is so interesting. And when I spoke with Vinay Sahasrabuddhe, who is of course the central in charge of the state of Madhya Pradesh, he made similar points. And I asked him that why are you guys still talking about something which happened 15 years ago? It's just natural that you talk about what you have done.
No, I'm saying so. See, I'm not talking about 15 years ago. 15 years, the people have two pictures in Madhya Pradesh. They see 15 years what they have been given by NDA government, by the BJP government, and 55 years of Congress government, where what they have been given by the Congress government in 55 years. So they have these two pictures, and that's why it is important for us to highlight, and even people are also acknowledging that this government has done a lot of things which was promised by the Congress government.
Okay,
so as I said, in 2003, Tamanna, just a second. In 2003, it was difficult, even for an ordinary citizen, or even the richest possible citizen of Madhya Pradesh, to comprehend that they will get 24 hours electricity in the entire state.
Okay.
Probably they would have got it, but not the entire state. Today, every single household gets 24 hours electricity.
Like I said, I made the same request to Mr. Dalmia. I make the same request to you. The campaign is over. The campaign is over, and I know it's difficult to ask political spokespersons.
I'm not campaigning. All I'm saying that it is for. All I'm saying that we are. So let me tell you very clearly, we are winning hands down in Madhya Pradesh.
Okay.
Congress is yes. There were some seats where they were in anti-incumbency. You may call anti-incumbency against a particular sitting MLA, but there was absolutely no anti-incumbency against the state administration and state government. And the leadership has taken a call. Few sitting MLAs have been replaced by a different phase, by young phase, who have more acceptability with the people of Madhya Pradesh. So there is absolutely
no. I know you want to respond, Mr. Dalmia, but let me put a question to you.
And there is no anti-incumbency against the state government, and we will win 200 seats, slightly more.
I'm sure. Why not more?
Out of 250
okay. Let me put that question to Mr. Let me bring that to Mr. Dalmia with a question. The fact remains that the government in Madhya Pradesh before 2003, which was under the chief ministership of Digvijay Singh, was a sore point, so much so that it is still being held up by the BJP. Is that one of the reasons why Mr. Digvijay Singh has pretty much disappeared from the campaign and maybe influencing a lot of things behind the scenes, but you've had to keep him out?
First I'd like to comment on what my good friend from the BJP has said. There are dreams and then there are pipe dreams. And I'm not sure which one is, which category his falls into, that they are winning a landslide and winning a large margin. Come election day, we'll all find out whether it was a dream or a pipe dream. That's the first comment. And the second point, it shows that the BJP does not have its own report card of the last 15 years, that they have to go back to, what, 2003? There is an entire generation of first and second time voters in Madhya Pradesh who would not even know 2003, who were not even probably around, or they were too young in 2003. So the BJP's narrative is a completely flawed narrative. It's also a flawed strategy, and it's a bad attempt to mislead the people. 15 years is a very long time. You can change the destiny of the 7.5 or odd crore people in Madhya Pradesh, yet you have to go back to 2003. And in terms of singling out certain senior leaders, the person in question is a senior leader. He remains to be a senior leader, and he remains to be a very important and active contributor in the Madhya Pradesh campaign. You know that, I know that. So there is no point in rumor mongering and creating these sort of fake news and speculation.
No, it's not rumor mongering. He was seen as an unpopular chief minister, and it was a good strategy to keep him out.
Let me answer.
In terms of political astuteness, I would say good, you kept him out. Good for you.
Allow me to answer. Allow me to answer. Look, you've asked this question to a lot of senior leaders. You've asked this to Kamal Nath ji, you've asked this to Scindia ji, you've asked this to Digvijay Singh ji. The point is, the Congress is a united front, and they have fought this election as a united front, and that is why the BJP is so worried. They are so worried that they have to go back to 2003 and make up stuff.
Okay.
They can't show their own report card for 15 years.
Let's talk a bit about the report card.
What have you done for the farmers? What have you done for the young?
Okay.
What have you done for the women?
Let's talk a bit about the report card. And I want to bring in Yatindra Singh over here. And Madhya Pradesh, you know, why we're saying again and again, it's such an important and key state for these two parties. First of all, over 90% of a Hindu population, not so much of an effect of a caste breakup. We have seen that reflected in the Congress manifesto as well, where, you know, that Hindutva approach has been adopted. Question about whether that will work. All of these factors play into, you know, whether the Congress can compete with the BJP on its own turf. Isn't that why this election is also so important, Mr. Singh?
Yeah, but we have to understand the Madhya Pradesh. This state is unlike the state of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, where caste is very predominant factor in the elections. Madhya Pradesh, if you take the history of Madhya Pradesh, caste has not been a very important factor because the elections are always fought on the basis of issues, the issues which are mostly related to the development. So I don't think this particular analogy is going to make very sizable impact on the polity of Madhya Pradesh. But here, two, three important factors are also figuring in the state of Madhya Pradesh in this election. The defectors are going to make very important change for many. They may be spoiler for many, for both the political parties.
Okay.
Because this is for the first time, both from Congress and BJP, there are defectors. And they are going to get, and this time the fight is so close that if they are going to get 2,000 to 5,000 votes, even then they can.
Okay, then in that case, Mr. Singh, what do you make of the BSP? Will the BSP act as a spoiler for the Congress in the state of Madhya Pradesh? Mayawati was very clear she didn't want to have any alliance with the Congress. How much of a force will she turn out to be in the 50, 60 odd seats that she's fighting in Madhya Pradesh?
Mayawati and BSP has never been able to accede to the 11 seats, which was its best performance in 1998. And last time they were confined to 4 seats. And they are not going to make a sizable dent in the bipolar election in the state of Madhya Pradesh. And my own understanding is this, that they are not going to make a very sizable dent beyond the limits of Chambal, Gwalior region, and up to some extent some here and there in the Vindhya region. So this is the total capability they have in the state of Madhya Pradesh, and that too in the adjacent states of Uttar Pradesh. And they are not having across the state presence, and therefore they are not going to make a very important sizable dent in terms of seats in the state of Madhya Pradesh.
You know,
they may garner 2% vote.
Mr. Tiwari, let me come to your point of a perception that there is about Shivraj Singh Chauhan. As a popular chief minister, people may be fond of him, but this time round, they will also be voting on what they have experienced under the BJP's central rule, which is why issues like demonetization and GST will come into play. Do you think there is any accuracy to this premise?
No, there is, because even in 2013 elections, 20% of the voters took into account central government's performance while voting in the state elections. So that helped BJP at that time. So demonetization, GST, probably they're old issues. But what we forget is that MP is the best performing state in Ujjwala, and it is also the best performing state in Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin. So actually these two things are playing in the favor of BJP vis-a-vis the Congress, which was under the 2G, CWG scam impression at that point of time. So we missed these two very key factors while analyzing
No, but Amitabh, taking your own argument forward, if demonetization and GST are old issues, 2G and CWG scam are then prehistoric in comparison.
No, that's what I'm saying. I was comparing. I'm saying Manmohan Singh government or the Congress campaign got impacted by the 2G CWG, but here Pradhan Mantri Awas Gramin Yojana, which is working very well on the ground, and the Ujjwala Yojana are going to be the key game changers with regard to the central government performance.
Let me get Mr. Dalmia in on that. The role of the central government, their schemes, and how much of an impact will it have? A lot of your campaign hasn't really been focused on GST and demonetization in Madhya Pradesh, and you know that's an important point. Where is the sense within the Congress that these are not issues which are resonating, which is why the focus has been on farmer distress and unemployment and other more broader issues?
So in every election you have a host of issues and you have to choose to prioritize what matters to the people the most. So as far as demonetization and GST is concerned, you know, it is still very fresh in the minds of the people. It is fresh in the minds of the housewives, it's fresh in the minds of the small traders, the vyaparis and the farmers. So there was limited need to remind them because it's still fresh, firstly. Secondly, as far as state elections go, and this is unique to perhaps India, as far as state elections go, they are turning increasingly hyper-local. And what I mean by that is if you go even within Madhya Pradesh, whether you're in the Mahakoshal belt or whether you're on the Gwalior region, the issues will change region by region. And the issues, in fact, even change seat by seat because the people's aspirations change. And as a political party, it is your responsibility to represent and reflect the aspirations of the people. And therefore, whenever we come up with our, let's say, manifesto, or we come up with the issues we want to address in a particular state, it is based on ground feedback of our own, obviously, organization and the booth level worker.
You know, I just want to come to you on your manifesto. I'm glad you brought up your manifesto, Mr. Dalmia. I just want to come to you on it. You're promising smartphones to women between the age of 15 to 45. You're saying you will cut electricity bills to half. You are saying that the MS Swaminathan committee report will be implemented. You know, there is not one working example of the implementation of the MS Swaminathan report. Farm loan waivers have already been given by the previous government, and they have proven not to have helped the distress that farmers are going through. Do you think that the Congress has any actual workable answers, or is this an attempt to just draw voters in? Can you really fulfill all of these promises you're making?
You know, absolutely. As I said, when you make a manifesto, it is done after a lot of study and deliberation. And it is not just a bunch of people in a closed room who come up with these theoretical statements. It is based on feedback from the ground. What do the people want? What should a manifesto ought to be? It's an article of faith which represents the aspirations of the people based on the feedback that the people have given to you. And obviously the Congress is serious, unlike the BJP, which is continue to do just ghoshnas every year and every 5 years. The Congress is extremely serious. You know, what we have, this is a Vachan Patra.
Yeah,
and the Vachan Patra is an article of faith.
Instead of Ghoshna.
And the BJP came up with a Drishti Patra.
Okay, one second. Let me come to Zafar Aslam. You said Vachan, they have said Ghoshna. But you've promised much more ambitious schemes than they have.
No, they have said Drishti. They have said Drishti. They have said Drishti, by the way.
Yeah, okay. So vision. Vision, yours is a promise. But both are actually ghoshnas only, they're announcements. But anyway, let me come to Zafar Aslam.
And how many people read manifestos?
Okay, no,
how many people read manifestos?
No, that, you know, but you know, that, on that, Amitabh, that doesn't mean people stop, the parties stop putting their manifestos in. The way the manifestos have been ignored in these last few elections is abysmal, but then that's a different story altogether. Let me come to Zafar Aslam on, you know, the key points about how much of a reflection is this going to be on the central government? Mamaji, as Shivraj Singh Chauhan is known, is considered popular, but after a point even he can't withstand whatever people decide as far as the Modi government in the center is concerned. If you win, would it be because of the Modi government's performance? And if you don't win, would it then also be because of the Modi government's performance?
Tamanna, let me tell you very clearly. I have been there for almost a month. I know the ground realities, whether it's Chambal region, whether Mahakoshal region, whether it's Jain region, Nimar region, Indore, Bhopal region, all the regions I have visited, and I must tell you that in terms of support for both Modi ji as well as Shivraj ji is something which only the opposition party can envy. First of all, they think the way they see, because they have seen in last 4.5 years, because both the central government and the state governments have worked in tandem very closely in the interest of the people and in the interest of the state. What was lacking in the past, because the first 10 years, the UPA government was there, and UPA government was definitely becoming bottleneck in most of the development.
But I'm sorry, I'm just going to quickly interrupt you to say that agricultural growth in Madhya Pradesh, no, just one segue there. Agricultural growth in Madhya Pradesh actually hit double digits, including during the UPA government, and the policies have worked.
Let me tell you one thing.
Did well for agriculture. It's kind of backfired now because there's so much produce and nowhere to sell it.
See, since you are talking about agriculture, let me also remind you, in 2003, the growth in agricultural sector was only 3%. And in today's growth rate of agriculture is 20%. And if you see that since last 4.5 years, how the agriculture sector has grown, definitely. And on the top of it, the growth is purely because he was talking about distress. There is absolutely no distress as far as agriculture sector is concerned, because the farmers are extremely happy the way things are shaping up.
Mr. Islam,
both in terms of the MSP, what has been announced by the government.
At least don't claim there is no distress.
You don't know the ground reality. All this, which is stage man. Absolutely not. I mean, you will have a 20% growth rate if there is a distress. Would you think that farmers will invest there? No. You have to see and understand the demography of Madhya Pradesh.
There's two different things.
72% population. 72% population of.
Why?
No, let me tell you. I think you must know the statistics.
Okay.
Let me tell you few statistics. See, the growth rate of 20% cannot happen unless the farmers are happy, because they will disassociate with farming sector, for agriculture sector, if they are not happy. Secondly, we have ensured their interest is completely safeguarded purely because whatever MSP has been announced by the central government, the state government has given over and above the MSP what has been announced. Their MSP is higher than what is announced by the central government. Over and above, there is a bonus. Then there is a
no, so farmers have been protesting for fun,
which is also compensating the farmers. Then there is a so there are many schemes.
I know there are many schemes. Okay, I'm going to let Mr. Singh come in here instead of Mr. Dalmia, because I think then we need to get the factual situation. Mr. Singh, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if it's 20% growth. The highest I believe is 14%. But correct me if I'm wrong. Secondly, my understanding is that agricultural produce has increased. That doesn't mean farmers are happy, because then they have to sell that produce, and that is where the hitch is, isn't it?
Yeah, we have to understand the agriculture of Madhya Pradesh. There is no denial of the fact that Shivraj Singh Sarkar has done extraordinary work for the farmers. But at the same time, Madhya Pradesh land holding pattern is to be understood first. There are not all the farmers are big farmers. There are marginal farmers, there are small farmers. And this distress analogy is by and large coming from that group which is a very small land holding or not being able to go to mandi for selling their crops, and that is the reason why there is a kind of distress among the farmers. But at the same time, this two-digit growth is there, but that is around 14-15%.
Yeah. Okay.
And
So I mean, today to claim that there is no farmer distress, I think would be difficult across India, including Congress-run states. It is a broader issue. It is a reality of our times. And sometimes the solutions provided get skewed by political considerations, like MS Swaminathan committee report. Can someone actually implement it? Is it implementable? I think these are important questions to ask on an eve of such a key election as well. I will end it here with a big thank you to all of our panelists on this show today, and all eyes now, of course, on this big election in Madhya Pradesh.